But this is about as clear cut as it gets right here. Is you can't be better aligned than where the alleged shooter Tyler Robinson took the shot.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. In the last few hours, Fox News has provided a fairly slapdash rehash of the alleged assassin's movements prior to and after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. According to the article, Tyler Robinson's suspected path shows him entering and exiting campus at different points before he made contact with a police officer standing guard after the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10 in an encounter that places him at Utah Valley University without relying on cell phone records. That's according to court documents, crime scene video, and interviews with law enforcement sources. I do think that's quite important, that we don't even need cell phone extraction data to prove Tyler Robinson was at the scene. I also saw that someone misreported that he was intercepted as he tried to retrieve his firearm. As I understand it, that is what he wanted to do, but he was intercepted because he was outside the perimeter that had been cordoned off, and he had that encounter simply because he asked to re-enter it with the explanation that he had fled the scene and had left something behind, like many others had. Well, which of course he had, the firearm. According to the same article, Robinson arrived on campus wearing black around 11:51 a.m., entering through a tunnel under Campus Drive, after parking his grey Dodge Challenger nearby and walking by the Utah Valley Institute of Religion on his way to the Low C Center at the heart of the campus. That's actually quite ironic as well, that he was walking by the Institute of Religion. Of course, a lot of what this case involves is ideological differences. Strictly speaking, of course, that's not accurate. He arrived on campus for the first time. Did you know this? Tyler Robinson arrived on the campus for the first time wearing shorts and a maroon shirt as early as 8:29 a.m. local time, nearly 4 hours before the shooting. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button. By the way, we will be resuming the number 9 and 10 clues we all missed after this episode. All right, and let's get started.
Keep in mind, I am right above where Charlie Kirk was shot. It doesn't get much clearer of an angle than that. And like I said, we're really just here to dispel the crazy theories we are seeing online. I mean, it's getting to the point of where it's uncontrollable, and I understand it. People don't trust the media, people don't trust the FBI, and they have good reason not to.
According to the New York Times, security camera footage reviewed by investigators showed the gunman wearing a different set of clothing than what he was seen wearing at the time of the shooting. Whereas according to Fox News, investigators retraced his movements with the help of the campus security camera network, a law enforcement source said. And just have a look at this very hinky graphic provided by Fox News. Fox News provides a really hammy graphic of the locations. Have a look at the red dot in particular for the sniper's nest. Is it even in the right location? Let's have a look at what Taylor Hansen, who was in situ, what he says about that trajectory.
And I see a lot of theories going around online. That's the main reason I'm here today about, he was shot from behind, he was shot from the side over here. But people don't realize, because they're looking at Google Maps and drone footage and other footage along those lines, they don't actually realize how close this was and the way that it was lined up. So if you just look at the Low C Center sign right here, that ladder directly above it, that's where the alleged shooter Tyler Robinson lay down with his rifle.
Now have a look at the red dot that Fox News uses for the sniper's nest. If you follow the black line trajectory, the trajectory actually cuts into the corner of a projecting building. Now let's go back to what Taylor says. Can you see where that part of the building is jutting out?
Above it, that's where the alleged shooter Tyler Robinson lay down with his rifle.
Can you see it's directly above that little ladder? well, one level above it, and then also just misses that jutting edge of black roof. But the way that Fox depicts it, it's totally wrong. It actually shows it actually hitting into the roof. Clumsy effort. The New York Post doesn't do much better. They place a red descriptor flag right over that part of the trajectory where it would have actually hit the roof. This is the correct position from the other angle. You can see the sniper's position is just to the left of the jutting roof section. Where Taylor is standing, he's standing basically directly above that tent on that sort of horizontal balcony section where those trash cans are, looking back towards the sniper position. And it's actually quite clever. The fact that he's just to the left of the jutting roof section means he can't be seen in line of sight by folks immediately to Kirk's right, while his left. The tree also gives a limited degree of visual protection on the left. You can see this again when we see it from Taylor's perspective.
And fired the shot that ultimately took Charlie Kirk's life.
Do you see the visual shielding from this angle from that tree on the right? It would be providing even more shielding if you were a level lower down, right? Does anyone know the exact time that Charlie Kirk was shot? Let's put those numbers on screen. It's 1, 2, 2, 3, 30 seconds. And look at the time that Tyler Robinson arrived on the scene, 8:29. That's almost 4 hours earlier. Who else was at the scene in this area for that length of time and changed clothing? It's very suspicious behavior. It is a potential indicator of premeditation and planning. So for Fox News to fail to show this in a way, distorts things in a way that's not really accurate. And that often happens when you either have an incomplete picture or you only deal with a fragment of the narrative. That's what happened. It distorts your perception. Now, someone from the TCRS community went to UVU campus, camera in hand, and investigated a lot of the perspectives we've been talking about firsthand. Let's hear it for Alan Cordaro. Thank you very much, Alan, for going to the effort to retrace the steps and to visit all of these locations with your camera and to really check. It's obviously something that is time-consuming, expensive, and kind of difficult to do, to go there yourself and to actually take those photos. It takes quite a lot of time. It's much easier just to sort of make something up or to assume. Anyway, Alan writes the following. You imply in your map with the arrow labeled with 5, it's actually the New York Times map, that Robinson entered the parking lot area between the Locy Center and the Computer Science Building near to the LDS Institute, that's the Religious Studies Institute, on his way to the Locy Center roof. I suspect, Alan writes, that he entered the Sorensen Student Center directly from the parking garage and then went through the Sorensen Student Center before entering the Locy Center to cross through it in order to reach the most direct outdoor staircase, which ascends directly to the point where, as you show, he gained roof access. Now, as far as I know, from point 5 to 6, he actually walked on the grass in front of the Locy building. If that's the case, then this approach would have been caught on camera too by the same camera. But this is a really interesting thing, is you go there and that's the route that you would have taken. And that seems logical for you. But of course, if he did take that route, he would have encountered a lot of people that were there as well, and they could potentially recognize him. So he doesn't want to he wants to take a route where he's going to the route that is going to be the least visible in terms of other people, and so that's why I think he walked on the lawn. If he did, that'll be caught on camera. We know that he entered through the front door on the parking lot side of the Locy Center, as I think Taylor Hansen demonstrates.
The shooter's perch in exactly the route, or as close to it as we can replicate, that he actually went through. So you would walk through, you would cut through this building. We'll show you how easily accessible this actually was.
And you can see the sign just above his head there. It says Computer Science to the left there. So that's another area of uncertainty. but I could be wrong on this score. Time will tell. Anyway, Alan goes on to write, having timed it, I found that the walk from the parking garage tunnel to the low-C center roof takes 10 minutes. I've not seen any security footage which supports my proposed path, but it seems to be the most direct walking path which does not require any difficult obstacles such as ladders, barriers, etc. So although it might be the most logical path, the question is, are there other CCTV cameras there? You've got to think about it from that perspective as well. It's possible that he did walk that path and they've simply not released that footage. I think that's a little bit unlikely though, but I guess that remains to be seen. Alan goes on to write, if you would like to see more photos to support this path, including a video which covers that same path, please feel free to reach out. I think we do want to see that video. What do you guys say? He says, I started to put all of my images together and then make a PDF, but I stopped working on this further shortly after we communicated by email. I did not send you my images because I have so many and did not know which ones to send. And then I did request that he send additional images, and that you're looking at some of them now on screen. Alan also writes, I believe that the suspect entered the woods directly across from the spot on the curb that he was standing when the security video of the roof drop ended. I went into those trees a couple of days ago after the suspect turned himself in and found a set of stairs in those woods which led directly to the neighborhood south of 800 South. Now, Taylor Hanson found that same staircase. Alan goes on to write, he had been captured on video twice on that day, did you guys know this, by two security cameras at 589 West, 880 South, once heading toward campus in his shorts and red shirt at 0957, and then earlier heading away from campus in his Dodge Challenger. In other words, his vehicle was recorded, that was at 0823. Alan goes on to write, those captures led me to believe that he parked his Challenger on 800 South during the shooting and used that same route to return to his car after the shooting. There should be more video footage available from 589 West, 880 South, showing him escaping to his car after the shooting. The reason that I think he parked on 800 South is because there are signs in the neighborhood that require a parking sticker for the neighborhood from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., and I don't think he would have risked being ticketed or towed while he was on campus for his mission. Once again, you get real boots on the ground insight when you are boots on the ground. This is why we really appreciate Alan going there and making sure and getting these details. Alan goes on to write, he also walked down 800S and was captured at 11:44 just before he turned left onto 800 West in his long pants with the backpack and the limp. Continuing down 800 West, he descended a staircase, this is what you are seeing on screen, into an outdoor parking lot before being captured entering the parking garage tunnel at 11:52. Now notice the railing. It's got a very idiosyncratic shape. It's sort of a square shape. And this is exactly where this was taken. And you can also see the camera there, and you can see that he knew the camera was there. You walk right towards that camera, and that is why he lowers his head. Now, how many people lower their head when they're walking around, even though they might know they're on camera? Well, if you're about to do something you shouldn't be doing, well, you're probably going to lower your head. After passing through the tunnel, he ascended parking garage staircase from P1 to P2, then walked across the parking garage to an entry into the Sorensen Student Center, and from there to smooth sailing to the low-C center roof. Now, many of us have speculated that there's probably much more additional footage, and Alan confirms this. He writes, quote, there should be much more security footage released at trial which shows his complete path, and I do believe that the computer science building security camera which picked him up escaping the scene will have also captured him entering that roof, assembling his gun, going prone, and even taking the shot. Unfortunately, there are no other security cameras which I can identify which will have a better perspective of him in the prone position than the computer science building camera. Then he also goes on to say, when rumors were posted that the Dairy Queen had been closed and emptied out, he said he went back to the Dairy Queen again and purchased another cone. I have pictures of that receipt too, so contrary to conspiracy theory rumor mill, that Dairy Queen is still open. So one question I would have for Alan is, did you notice a Superman poster or any movie poster inside that Dairy Queen? After reviewing a lot of Alan's photos and observations, I asked him, what is your theory on what happened? And he wrote the following. I went to the campus and Orem with an open mind with the intent of discovering whatever facts that I was able to observe with the hope of confirming or overturning as many crazy conspiracy theories as possible. Based upon what I've seen, I believe that the evidence provided to the public so far by the authorities is consistent with everything that I've examined, and that is the most credible explanation that I've seen by far. Now, this is basically an independent person who reached out to me and said, would you like me to go to Orem and have a look? And I said, have at it. And I certainly didn't offer him any guidance. I didn't ask him to think about it one way or another. This is his independent appraisal that it seems to support the official narrative. Then he goes on to write, I would not be surprised to ultimately see that others were involved, but the purported location of the suspect is the most viable explanation that I've seen after examining and re-examining to the best of my ability. Oh, he also writes, I've confirmed that the timeline for his multiple sorties of the day of the event are all viable and consistent with the security cameras which I intentionally sought to lay my own eyes and camera on. And then he took this photo of an alleged additional sniper's position, and you see just how ridiculous it is when you have these clear pictures of it. It really is one of the dumbest places to locate yourself, this whole shooting from the side location. And you can see just how easy it would be for someone standing where he's standing. You can see his hand pointing over there to see a sniper in a ghillie suit. It would just be so ridiculously easy to see him. Also, the access seems to be via a key card activated doorway. So thanks again, Alan, very much for going boots on the ground. If you guys have got any questions for him, you can email Alan. I'll put a link to that in the description. Or you can just leave a comment. Taylor Hanson wrote the following. The grim reality just isn't as exciting as the internet wants it to be. And that is certainly true, isn't it? Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.